Hi there, you're on Gossip Says channel. Enjoy watching, subscribe and like it. It's growing our community.
Story 1. I don't know if I can still say I love my mother. My mother hasn't been well for a long time. I am painfully aware of this. She's always made a point to be honest with her kids, though this has led to her talking about her sex life with her son who does not want to know about that. She's too honest. I hate it. She's offered to let me do stuff like ecstasy at the ripe age of 14. Her honesty also shines a light on how hypocritical she is. She tells me she'll never bring a man back into the house, yet here I am, with my formerly abusive father, because she had to bring druggy Mr. Clean into our house again. She tells me she never wants to make me feel as abandoned and unloved as her parents did, yet she completely neglects her children and leaves them to fend for themselves to go and get high. I wanted her in my life as a mother, but I don't think she wants to be that. Not even a week into 2023, at 11 a.m. my sister and I received 2 texts from our family group chat. My mother tells us that she needs help and that she tried to kill herself. I panic and rush over to her room and find her sobbing. All I can do is sit there and cry while my sister calls our grandparents, who then call the crisis team. I am haunted by her crying that day. I will never forget the pure dread and panic I felt trying to get that godforsaken door open, because all my worst fears, all my paranoia that one day I would wake up and be told my mother had gone and overdosed and died would be confirmed if I didn't. She was fine, and she was discharged from the hospital the following morning. A lot has happened since then. To give you a basic rundown, because if I were to explain it all we would be here for hours. She continued her on and off relationship with her druggy boyfriend. Went to rehab briefly, though left because it wasn't her thing. Brought druggy boyfriend back to our house, so me and my siblings left. I've since been signed under my father's name, and he managed to get a house for us. My older siblings are with 2 of my aunts who have been helping us through all of this. I had to talk to my mother to get me signed under my father's name so we could actually get the house. When I initially asked, she replied with, "It's not fine, you can't even talk to me." To which I told her that I was scared of talking to her. She then proceeded to ask me why, saying that she had never hurt me. I blew up at this, given all the bullshit she's pulled over the past year, specifically highlighting how I had to find her after her suicide attempt. Her response? "You didn't have to find me." After messaging both me and my sister, asking for help, she has the audacity to tell me I didn't have to find her. What else could I have done? Ignored it? Just left her to die? And throughout this all, she's constantly saying we need to give her abusive druggy boyfriend a chance because he's changed. He has said this multiple times and has cheated on her and with her with multiple women. He has beat and berated her in front of me and my siblings, and he literally tried to strangle her to death. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm exhausted. Whenever I tell her I love her, it feels like I'm lying through my teeth. I'm only a kid. I don't want to live like this. Story 2. Friend from the work, 21F. Becoming cold and distant with me, 20M. Out of nowhere with no reason. How should I deal with it? First off, there is no romantic feelings involved. It's purely platonic. And I'm also not intending any of this to be trash talk. I don't want it to be about me. I just genuinely care. Me and this girl, I'm gonna name her Angie for a story later, started working with each other last December. We weren't friends right away, but we had basic small talk to get to know each other. And as the months went by, we started bonding a little more by making jokes. The first time we hung out was within around beginning of July, and she asked me to hang out with her girlfriend, and her cousin. And I never ask people to hang out because I have a thing where if somebody actually wants to hang out with me, then they will make the effort to. This mindset started sometime during high school, after nobody showed up to the basketball park, after a bunch of people from school told me they would go. But back to my friend. We started to hang out a little more, and she was still the one who asked me to hang out. So of course it felt awesome, because after a long time, somebody is actually showing that they love hanging out with me. We didn't hang out all the time, which I'm not expecting to be that way, even if everything felt ok. When everything felt ok, the vibes at work were awesome. She always seemed excited to see me at work, always said what's up and bye before and after shifts. And we always joked around. It felt like she enjoyed being around me so much that during one shift, as she was coming into work and I was leaving, she said, I wish you could stay a little longer. But lately, the vibe has just felt completely different, and I'm confused by it. It felt a little after in the beginning of September. But then it started to feel really off close to the end of September. She didn't seem as excited to see me at work. Sometimes wouldn't even say hello. The convos didn't feel the same because it literally felt like she wasn't interested. Even though she's kind of always been like that with anyone. She either seems really interested or not interested at all. Basically bored of it. And now she won't even say bye. I'm not saying she has to say hello or bye, but the vibe is obviously different. In the end of September, I randomly brought up that my dad was going to be in town, but I didn't try to bring too much attention to it. And she said herself that she wanted to meet him. So I told her that she could bring her girlfriend and meet him at my uncle's wedding, and she said yes. But then 3 days before the wedding I reminded her about it, and she said she was actually gonna be busy on that day. I was perfectly fine with, she has her life. But then on the day of, I saw her post on her Snapchat story of her just chillin' at home. So of course I was a little confused by it after she said she was busy, but I just tried to forget about. And now the past couple of weeks, she's been ignoring my messages. And it's not like we texted all the time when everything felt awk. She usually takes a while to text anyways. And it's not the taking a while to respond that confused me, but lately she'll text me about work. And if I respond to it, she'll reply right away, but she'll ignore any of my other messages. So of course I feel a little disrespected. And then just yesterday, I grabbed a quick bite with a coworker, I'll call her Jenna, to talk about it. And the coworker actually mentioned earlier that day that her, Angie, and another coworker were trying to go to the movies on Thursday. And Jenna asked them if they should invite me to go to the movies. And apparently Angie and the other coworker were hesitant about it. And that Jenna, who I was talking to, said that she was confused by it too because she said that she would have never expected Angie to not want to invite me. Because Jenna said that Angie and I seem like best friends at work. So Jenna and I tried to figure out what could have caused this. We crossed off her girlfriend because her girlfriend still makes funny replies to my Snapchat stories. So her girlfriend isn't jealous. Her cousin is still fine with me because she also replies to my stories. So boom, her two closest people off the list. I never gave any flirty vibes. I never once tried to hang out with her alone. We did hang out alone twice. Once was when we went to her dad so my car can get fixed. And the second time was when her girlfriend and I were supposed to go bowling. But then her girlfriend was busy, so it was just us two. Boom, I never gave flirty vibes. I also never once disrespected at or outside of work. Never made a smart comment towards her, literally nothing. So either she's just being immature about it or somebody is talking smack about me to her. And I'm not saying she has to seem excited me. Heck, she doesn't have to be friends with. But it gets disrespectful when they don't even respond to messages and then text me days later without acknowledging my messages. This wouldn't have been a problem if we never hung out and were just coworkers. But we have hung out and she made me feel really close. I met her girlfriend, her cousin, her dad. She sent a picture of me to her mom. So obviously I feel some importance and thought I made a good friend. I'm obviously setting boundaries and I will never go out my way to be friends with somebody. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to fix a friendship. So Jenna, me coworker, and I had a plan. On Friday, she's gonna ask Angie if I got invited to the movies, because Jenna can't go because she's busy. And if Angie says no and is weird about it, then Jenna is gonna ask if everything is ok between me and her. And I'll find my answer there. Story 3. Friends, but there's something different about this one. I 21M met 23F. We're technically a year apart. My late birthday plays a role in this. In a totally random dinner I scheduled with one of my friends whom I jokingly asked him to bring a girl along. I ended up getting sick and didn't want to go to the dinner. But also a part of me said, just go to it. And so I did and met her. I immediately noticed she wasn't from Canada unconsciously, not in a bad way, a good way, and found out she's also from the US, a city where my family has a house about 1.5 hours from their house. I play golf tournaments and found out I've actually been to her neighborhood in California, which was really random. We stayed in touch and didn't speak that much to one another for a couple of months, till I randomly asked her if she wanted to grab dinner and she was down. We had a bit of tea between our now new friend group, you could say. And it was the first time in a long time I had some gossip to speak on lol. For some odd reason, she reminded me of when I was 6 years old, where you're just talking off the top of your head because you don't have a care in the world. She got busy once and kept canceling on plans and naturally stopped talking again for maybe a month or so. Didn't think much about it, or at least tried not to. We hung out with our group of friends a couple of times for dinner downtown, but yeah. She invited me and a few of our friends to her graduation party, where I found out her aunt and grandparents lived 5 minutes away from me in Canada, and I ended up being the last one to leave at 3 a.m. where we were just talking because we're talking again. And I remember sometime in the party I looked at her and was, man, I'd really kiss you right now. It was a feeling I've never really had with anyone, to be honest, and didn't know was something that came natural. I talked to her mom there for maybe an hour, and found out her brother was also in the same profession that I want to get into. Also found out her dad was planning to become a teacher, and actually was a student teacher back in the day at the high school I went to when they still lived in Canada. The last day I was going to be living downtown, a friend. Me and her went for dim sum, and our friend ended up needing to go to work, and we all ended up walking him to work at the mall. Us two ended up spending the rest of the day together just doing random shit. We went for a walk at the end of the day, and she was telling me about how she had a lot of coincidences with her Beth. But man, I don't think you can top ours, lol. Didn't know this yet? Keep reading. Another time we went for dinner with our group of friends, and I ended up at her place, 'cause she fucked up her hard drive. She actually did boo. And it was all platonic, of course. But I think at that point we established a different level of trust, 'cause she was okay with me taking her hard drive with all her personal photos on it. We went for a photo shoot for fun, and did some things while we were still in Canada, till the last day, where I was planning on going to California for a while, and that I'll see you there. We hung out in the morning, after we had my going away party, I guess, lol. And 5 minutes ended up being 2 hours. We were just driving around and listening to music, and talking about God knows what. I hugged her bye, and that I'll see you in 2 months when she moves back to California seemed like a movie tuh. Her parents ended up moving down to Southern California, 6.5 hours drive for me, and decided to visit her when she got back. Met, and it was honestly really nice to see her again in her natural habitat, lol. I had to fly back to Canada for a family emergency, and she drove me to the airport. I think at this point we learned the silence between us was comfortable, and something that is just normal, I guess, in the car. My jaw was hurting when I got back, because I think I was laughing for 2 straight days with her and her family. She's now away again to see her Beth and had been hanging with her parents and brother, and we seem to get along really well. Like too well. Went biking with her dad, 'cause I'm a big biking person as well, and also a big fan of hot-ass peppers like me. We're the sort of people who take off the lid for red chili flakes for pizza, and hang with her brother since we're both big car people. And when I was talking to her mom again, she told me her life story, and I told her really happy to have met you guys. And in a really sincere way, she also said, happy to have met you too. What is happening? But I'm genuinely really happy to have met her. Just as a friend, I feel at rest with her. I don't pity her relationship with her Beth, but I really hope whoever she ends up with makes her happy as she makes me feel. I can accept that I am different from her Beth, and not in a bad way, but we're just different in our personalities. Let's see what happens. Excited to see what the future holds. Story 4. Depression killed my emotions. I don't know where to start, but I guess I'll try to keep it short. I met my girlfriend 6 years ago, and we instantly clicked. I have never been with someone before. She was smart, funny, beautiful, and kind. We had so much in common, and we made each other happy. Everything was perfect. Until she got diagnosed with stomach cancer. It was a shock to both of us, and we didn't know how to cope. She had to undergo surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. It was painful and exhausting for her, and I tried my best to be there for her every step of the way. I took care of her, cooked for her, drove her to the hospital, and hugged her when she cried. I loved her more than anything, and I wanted her to get better. But the cancer took a toll on her mental health too. She became depressed, anxious, and hopeless. She lost her appetite, her hair, and her confidence. She pushed me away, saying that she was a burden and that I deserved better. She said she wanted to die. So I'm always trying to make fun of myself, tell her jokes, and make she feel better. I didn't give up on her. I encouraged her to see a therapist, to take medication, to join a support group. I reminded her of all the good things in life, of all the people who cared about her, of all the dreams we had together. I told her that she was strong, brave, and beautiful. I told her that I loved her more than anything, and that I wanted her to live. And she did. She beat cancer. She went into remission. She started to smile again. She regained her appetite, her hair, and her confidence. She thanked me for being there for her, for saving her life. She said she loved me more than anything, and that she wanted to spend the rest of her life with me. I was overjoyed. I thought we had overcome the worst, and that we could finally be happy again. Until she left me for someone else. It happened out of the blue. She came home one day and texted me that we needed to break up. I asked her why. She did not even explain to me why. Later that day, she said she was sorry. She said she still cared about me, but that she wasn't in love with me anymore. She said she hoped we could still be friends. A few months later, I found out she married someone else. I asked around and her best friend said her family forced her to marry their friend's son. We lived in East Asia, where this is still a normal thing. I was devastated. I felt betrayed, abandoned, and worthless. I couldn't believe that she would do this to me, after everything we had been through together, after everything I had done for her, after everything I had given up for her. I have no faith left in this world. My life is a mess. My family is a mess too. My dad is an alcoholic who drinks himself into oblivion every night. My mom is toxic who blames me for everything that goes wrong in her life. They don't care about me or my feelings. My house always loud as hell. I can't even have a good night's sleep. I tried to beat depression. I go outside more, to get some fresh air and sunlight. Tried to go to the gym, to exercise and release some endorphins. Tried to watch a lot of comedy, to laugh and forget my pain. Tried to study new things, to stimulate my mind and learn new skills. I tried to follow Buddhism, to find peace and enlightenment. I tried to make more money, to improve my financial situation and afford better things. But when I thought that I was feeling better and better, reality hits me. Today, I helped a disabled guy. I buy something he sold for 10x the price. He thanked me profusely and said that I was a good person who deserved happiness. But I didn't feel anything. I did not even feel bad for him because of his disability. Then I realized I have never felt anything since that day, no emotions, all empty insides. No matters how many interactions I had with people. All nothing. I feel like an alien in this world, and nothing would make me truly happy anymore. Well, it is what it is. Story 5. Girlfriend cheated. Hey guys, I know this is kinda long, but I already shortened it a lot and don't know how to make it any shorter. Appreciate every who reads this so much. So me, and 20, and my girlfriend, F19, have been dating for almost 2 years now. This is my first serious relationship ever, and everything seemed to be perfect for so long. We were always getting complimented on our relationship and how we never ever fought or had any problems and stuff like that. Anyway, not even long into dating, my girlfriend became pregnant. Her doctor had told her she has a problem, and it would be very unlikely for her to be able to become pregnant without surgery. However, apparently, this wasn't the case. So about 4 months after our daughter was born, we went through our first real rough patch together. We are both young parents and didn't have a lot of money at this time, plus not a whole lot of support, and we were struggling. One day my girlfriend asked me if I would mind if she went to breakfast with one of her girlfriends, and I said of course, you can go. She then informed me that she had run out of data on her phone plan, but she would be getting a hotspot from a friend so she could still talk to me. So I said okay, no problem. I started getting suspicious when she walked up the road a bit to get picked up away from the house, and then later on, I messaged her to ask when she'd be coming home, and I wasn't getting any answers until she was on her way home and let me know. I was sitting in a lounge room at the front of the house when she got home and saw that she got dropped off away from the house and on the wrong side of the street from the place she was meant to be going for breakfast. I questioned her when she got inside, and she just said her friend dropped her there and she wasn't sure why. I said that doesn't make much sense, and could you please show me that you actually don't have any mobile data? She reluctantly showed me, and she actually did have mobile data. I asked what she was doing, and where she was and why was she lying to me. And then she admitted to me that she had gone and seen a guy friend of hers that she hadn't seen in a while. And she was just too scared to tell me because she thought I wouldn't allow it. But she wanted to catch up with him. I broke up with her and left back to my parents' house for a week or so, but was still coming over daily for hours to see my daughter. We had another talk about what happened, and she swore to me that nothing happened between her and the guy. And could we please fix our relationship? And she would never do anything like it again. I took some time to think about this, but eventually took her back. But the thought that she could have cheated on me, and I will have no way to ever know, just ate away at me almost every day. It made our relationship worse for a good few months because I'd always think about it, and then I'd act differently towards her. Anyway, after those few months, I decided I needed to get over what happened since I decided to trust her, and there was no way for me to prove she didn't anything. And then our relationship really picked back up again. It felt perfect again, like it was at the start. This lasted for a long time until one day, she came to me with a scared and regretful look on her face. She admitted to me that she has an STI and that I would have it as well. She then told me that the guy she saw those months ago is the one who gave it to her, and she did actually sleep with him, and it was just a huge mistake she made during a really rough patch of our lives. There was a lot more to this conversation, but I won't go into huge detail. Anyway, the fact that I already kinda had this feeling for so long previously that she might have done something, and then I eventually got over it, made me deal with this a lot better, and maybe let her off too easy. Now I think about it, if I never found out she saw the guy all those months ago, and she just told me this one time, then I would have been straight out and done with the relationship. But what I ended up saying to her was that I'm willing to give her one chance and one chance only. I said if I ever catch her lying to me about anything ever again, no matter what it is, then we are done, and there's no more chances anymore. One mistake, and we are done for good. I also said we should just break up and go our own ways. But she really didn't want me to leave and promised on our daughter's life that she would never do anything like this again. Now, all of this was only a couple of weeks ago. I still think about what she did, and it makes me not treat her very good sometimes. I know I will eventually get over it, and we will be very good again. But is this the right choice to make? What should I do here, or what is your opinion? Story 6. I 20F, don't want my partner, 25M, to leave to Japan. Hey, I really need help. I've been an emotional mess ever since my partner left for vacation to Japan 1 week ago, and he has 1 week left. When I started dating him, late January this year, I knew he was the one. I know this sounds cringe, especially as a 20 years old, but I never felt so good with someone before. In every aspect, we don't fight and only talk about our disagreements. We both love each other dearly in a very trusting way. My boyfriend always wanted to live in Japan, so when we got together we decided on the compromise that he'll live and work there for a year while I'm still at uni, and he's doing exams for a work certificate. Important to mention is that we are in a LDR. He is doing totally fine with that, but I'm someone who needs physical closeness, so I struggle a lot from time to time, especially during PMS. Now that he has gone to Japan, I totally changed my mind. The time difference between Europe and Japan would make it impossible to spend time during the week since he'll be working and I'll be at uni. During the weekend, he wouldn't have much time either because he probably would want to travel through Japan or just socialize, learn the language more, etc. Furthermore, would it be really hard to visit each other during that year because flights are expensive? So basically, I would struggle like hell, probably be depressed and sad all the time while he gets to explore the country. It made me really anxious, and that's why I confronted him about it today. After stating of the above, he told me he would understand me, but he would still take the offer. After I said that he would be okay if that would mean our relationship would get harder due to me not being able to handle it, he said he doesn't really know what to suggest. After some back and forth, and him not knowing what to do nor to say, he said he would think about it. He would never break up with me, nor would I, so I guess we have to find a solution a different way. My suggestion on him being there only for like 3 months or us going there together didn't sound to him appealing because he wants to stay there longer to experience life there fully. I feel like he has already decided to stick to his plan, which is only fair. The last thing he said was, "I made a decision which you now want to be changed, and I haven't yet decided if / how that decision will change." He told me he loves me, and that was the end of the conversation. I know that I'm the bad guy in this story since I'd made him agree on a compromise before and now want to change it again. I feel like a bad partner because either I will make him stay or only go there for a few months, or I'll let him go there and be a total mess and a strain for the relationship. Or I just can't take it anymore and need a break from the relationship. I feel really bad because I guess it shows we aren't compatible when it comes to that, and I basically ruin his dreams with that. I just don't know what to do or what to say to him. I want to stay with him, but I also don't want our relationship go through an entire year of me crying lols or feeling disconnected while he's trying to enjoy his time over there. What am I supposed to do? Story 7. M43F44, am I the crazy one? This could be a long story, but I'll try to keep it short and concise. I've been in a relationship for close to 8 years, but there's serious trust issues that we can't seem to resolve somehow. It started 7 years ago when I saw a text notification that showed this in the preview, "But didn't you recently have sex with him?" This was from a close male friend of hers referring to someone else. This triggered me, and whilst I actually understand going through one's phone might not be the best solution, I did look through her phone. Initially, I just wanted to get some context. Maybe that friend was referring to me. As it was, they were talking about an ex-boyfriend. Her reply was, "No, we just kissed." His reply was that it made him horny thinking about that. Reading more of this conversation, I saw that they were constantly exchanging sexually charged messages. This friend stating on numerous occasions that they should hook up soon. Also mentioning he hated her being in a relationship and that she should just kick me out so he can have some. I confronted her with these messages, and obviously that quickly turned around. Why was I looking in her phone anyway? Explained that I was triggered by the message preview. She said that she doesn't want to receive such messages from that guy, and that she asked him to stop sending it. But reading the messages, I can see she played along just fine. I asked her if she thinks this is a normal kind of friendship to have if you are in a relationship. But she says it's an issue between me and that friend. She asked him to stop. He literally said he won't, and for her, that's the end of it. And when I say that's the end of it, I mean that she will just continue to see him / text him, or even share personal things about our relationship. For me, that's weird. It is not a me issue in my mind. It's for her to decide if she wants to continue that kind of friendship, and it's up to me if I will accept that or not. I have clearly said that to her. Look, I can't forbid you to see people, but neither can you force me to accept that my personal boundaries are crossed. So for me, it's simple. Either you are with me and you will stop this so-called friendship, or we are done. She continues with her mantra, "This is between me and him, and she bears no responsibility. If I have an issue, I should fix it," is basically what she said. Personally, I find that lack of being accountable for your actions weird, but I'll fix it. I texted the guy and told him to get the fuck out of my / our life. That also turned around, as he immediately started playing victim, and eventually they broke contact for a few years. She continues to blame me for that. Ever since the guy emigrated to another continent, and I am fully aware they are in contact again. Fast forward to the present day. My partner told me she was working in the office on a certain day. Thanks for informing me, no issues, one would say. However, when checking our bank account to make a payment, I could see a transaction was made nowhere near the office she said she would be. I found it strange and decided to address that. When she came home, I asked her about her day in the office, on 3 occasions. On all 3 occasions, she answered all was good. I think I gave her ample opportunity to say, "Well, actually, I went to a different location." But she decided not to do that and lie about it instead. It's at that point that I decided to look at her phone for the second time in 7 years, and I found out that she was having an online affair with one of her coworkers, who she also met on that day she was supposedly in the office. Text varied from sexual pictures, let's say half nudes, from both sides. Constant plans to meet up and how to lie about it. I once again confronted her, and obviously she claimed there was nothing that happened. That might be true or not. It's irrelevant, as the texts by itself would constitute an emotional affair that just didn't materialize into a physical one. We had talks for hours, as I also realized that we have been neglecting each other emotionally a bit, and she finally admitted that she went too far and she would end those talks completely. The next evening, I literally see her texting him whilst she is in bed next to me. So the next day, I checked her phone for the third time. She literally said she was caught, and that she promised me they would break contact, but that she had no intention to really do so. I was seriously pissed, but didn't confront her, as we had my daughter over from a previous relationship. I texted a friend what happened and told this friend I will wait until my daughter is gone, and just change the locks. I own the house. She somehow looked over my shoulder and saw that, and got upset. She asked me why I would say that. I explained I found her latest texts where she said she had no intention of breaking contact. Well, long discussions again, but she did text him breaking up contact. Now, however, she keeps insisting that I make her feel unsafe, because I check on her. She says her friends refuse to speak with her because I might read it. She is playing the victim to the max, and in my mind is playing mind games. But maybe I am the asshole, and maybe I should not have went through her phone.